So I feel like I should start this video by letting you guys know that I'm going to be talking about books that I own and that I have read and that I loved and I kept. However, since we moved to Rhode Island, you guys know my bookshelves were overflowing. They still were, even though I unhauled some books. I still have books piled up on the floor. So what I decided to do when we moved here was any books that I have read and I wanted to keep forever, like these are books I read that I loved that I want on my shelves for the long haul. I put them in boxes. In some of our moving boxes, I just kept them in there, and they're in a closet in my guest room. So they're kind of in storage right now. So because of that, at least while we're here, and I don't really have the shelf space to house everything, I'm going to be showing you a lot of thumbnails versus showing the actual books. Even though I do own them and I do have them, I don't want to go digging through those boxes every single time I do a video. That's going to be a lot. So if I ever show a book that I read and I loved, and you guys kind of know that I own them, if I'm not showing them physically, that's why. They're in storage right now. Still in my house, but in storage. So everything on my shelves behind me and everything on my shelves in my entire house are all books I have not read yet. So everything on here is TBR books except for Blindsight. That's the only one, The Blindsided up here by Karen Slaughter. That's the only one on the shelf that I have not read yet, or that I have read, sorry. So everything else I have not read. So that's my book situation. I realized I didn't really explain that, and I didn't want you guys to be confused as to why I'm showing a lot of thumbnails for books that you know that I've read and loved and know that I still have in my house. So that's why I did not get rid of them. They're just in storage for right now so that I can have space for the books that I have not read yet, and my shelves are full. So after my last book haul, after my July book haul, my shelves are full again. So I'm not going to be purchasing books for a little bit until I can make some room on my shelves. The only exception for that is going to be book of the month, and that's it. And I'm not putting my book of the month books on my shelves. I'm putting them on a tabletop upstairs so that I see them every day, and I want to, kind of keep it contained to that tabletop. So yeah, that's what's happening. So that's why. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today is BookList Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay over at Lindsay's Little Library, and every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or book topic we feel like talking about for the week. This week, we are going to be talking about boarding schools. The reason we decided to do this week is because we're going back to school, kind of. I mean, really, right? Our current school situation is our school district is planning to go back full-time in-person school. It was originally going to be August 31st, but now they have pushed it back by 2 weeks to give the schools a little bit more time to make it safe, and to put all those safety measures in place and kind of know what they're going to be doing. So it's a little bit less chaotic. So they are now going back September 14th, and that is the current plan right now. We'll see how it goes. But the governor of Rhode Island made that announcement actually yesterday. So we just found that out. And Layla, my going into fourth grader, is very upset by this. She is dying to go back to school. Kaylin, my going into seventh grade, could care less. She'd rather do the distance learning thing. So I have kids on both sides of the aisle on that one. So that's what's currently happening right now. And they did give parents the option to do distance learning. If you want to do only distance learning, that was fine too. Or if you choose to homeschool, that's something you take on yourself. I am not going to be homeschooling. That's not something I'm comfortable with. So our option, we chose the option for them to go back to school in person. So we'll see when that is able to happen. As of right now, it's September 14th. So we'll see. But we thought it'd be fun to do some sort of like kind of back to school list, basically. So we thought we'd talk about books that are set in boarding schools or have boarding schools as a part of the setting of the book. And I was surprised that I have quite a few that I have read and some that I really, really loved. I loved all of these books I'm about to talk about. So let me tell you what some of my favorites have been. The first one is one that I read, I think earlier this year, and I really, really liked it. It's My Dark Vanessa. This is by Kate Elizabeth Russell. And this one is set in a boarding school. It's actually a dual timeline. So the current timeline is not, she's an adult, she's out working in the world. But when you go back in time to when she's in school and she is having a sexual relationship with one of her teachers, that is at a boarding school. And it's not necessarily, the boarding school isn't like a big plot device or anything, but it is set there when you're in the past and when you're watching this relationship start and grow. It's all set at the boarding school. And this one was really good. It was very dark though. So, and it's a very, very dysfunctional relationship. So there is that. It's not for everybody. I know a few people who've read it and were really uncomfortable with it and couldn't continue. And then I know some people who have read it and really enjoyed it. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. So that is one, definitely. Another one is All These Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Kluthoff. And this one, it is set in a boarding school. It's kind of an elite boarding school, if you will. You have to kind of have some influential parents and have a lot of money to be able to get into this school. And within that school, there's also a secret society that happens that you're not supposed to know about, but everybody knows about it, but it's all secret, but it's really not. And they do some very questionable things, but it's also very, it's considered a privilege to be a part of them. And our main character is not only dealing with some things that have happened in her home life with her mother, but she is also going into this society and seeing what they actually do and who these people really are. And she's trying to decide if she wants to be a part of that or not. And so you kind of see some things parallel there as well. And it was really good. This was a surprise book for me, how much I loved it. It was really juicy and I really liked it a lot. The next one is The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd Jones. Now this one is actually a paranormal kind of fantasy-ish book where our main character does go to a boarding school and she is on the verge of getting kicked out because of financial situation. She can't support herself. There are things happening to where she doesn't have any money to where she can pay to stay in this boarding school. And in this book, there are demons that are known to everybody. Everyone knows that there are demons and they run around and they're there. The special thing about these demons is that you can make a deal with them. So they can make something happen for you. In return, they ask you for a body part. And each demon will ask you for something different. They want something specific. And then you strike up a deal with them by sacrificing that body part to them. And then they will grant you or create whatever you want to happen. And each, you see people walking around with like missing fingers or a missing limb or a missing eye or, something weird. And you know that they've made a deal with a demon for something. So our main character decides that she needs to make a deal in order to stay in her school. And the demon that she approaches about this requests her heart. So it was very good, you guys. This was another surprise. I could not put this book down. I really just connected with the characters and it was just, I was reading it. I picked it up thinking, maybe it might be a 3-star, like, oh, this will probably be fun. But oh my gosh, I flew through it. I loved it. It was a lot more than I was expecting and definitely highly recommend. This is another author that I want to read a lot more from. So now we're going to go to a little bit of fantasy here, and I'm going to say Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. So this is a boarding school in the fact that our main character, Mia, goes to this school, and she does live there. She has a room, she has a dorm, like a dorm room or, an area where she lives. It's not something that she goes to every day and then goes back home. She lives there, as do the other students, but it's a school for assassins. So they're learning how to kill people and kill each other. So a little bit of a different type of boarding school, but definitely a school. And you see them go through their lessons and the teachers that they're dealing with. One of them is literally trying to kill them with poison. It's crazy. And then you see the things that they have to go through in their classes and in their testing. And, they have trials and all sorts of things. So, man, I love that book. It was really, really good. Definitely adult, definitely bloody, gory, all the adult things. But Mia is definitely at a boarding school in that one. And another fantasy book, we're going to go middle grade now, and that's going to be Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. And, this follows our main character, Morgan, who is basically rescued from being dead, I guess you could say. It's kind of prophesized that any child who is cursed, which she believes that she is, will die on their 11th birthday. So it's her 11th birthday. She's fully prepared to die. She thinks her life is done because she believes that she's this cursed being. And she ends up at her birthday party. A man named Jupiter comes in and he tells her, "You're not cursed. Come with me." And so she goes with him, and he takes her to this place called Nevermore, which she has never heard of before. It's a place in this world, and it is basically, definitely been compared to Hogwarts, which I would definitely agree with. It's like a school where you have a certain type of talent, I guess you could say. And if you can prove your talent and prove that you're really good at something and that you have this ability for something, some of them are magical, some of them are not. You have to go through kind of a trial period with the administrators of the school to try to get in. And that's how you get in. You don't just get in because you have an ability. You have to prove yourself. You have to prove that you have a really great ability that's going to benefit our country and benefit, this world. And based on that, you get into the school. And it's really cool. So that's all I'm going to say. It's very, very magical. And oh man, I loved that book. I loved the first two books. I'm anxiously awaiting for the third book to come out. I believe end of October is when the next book number 3 is supposed to come out now. So very much looking forward to that. But that is definitely, it's a school. She has to try to get in, and it's a boarding school. They live there. So it's really cool. Okay, guys, so those are 5 books that have a boarding school as part of the setting in them. And those are ones that I have really, really enjoyed. So please let me know down below if you guys have any books that you've read that involve boarding schools that you really enjoyed as well. I'd love to know what those are. I'm very proud of myself for not saying Harry Potter, but obviously Harry Potter. And make sure you go check out Lindsay's video today and see which schools. Make sure you go check out Lindsay today and see which books that she's really enjoyed that involve boarding schools. That's one of her buzzwords. So if there's a book set in a boarding school, she's immediately interested. So I'm really interested to see what she has to say, because it's definitely a setting that she really particularly seeks out in books. So I'm excited to see which ones she's really enjoyed. All right, we will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day.